got to tell you, nobody does it better, at least from the entertainment side of the industry, than Professor Griff. You all know about Public Enemy. You all know about Chuck D and Flavor Flav and all that. But when you talk about the militancy of Public Enemy, you're talking about Professor Griff. That's the force. That's the passion. That's the energy. And I wanted to have this brother on, but before I go on, because we're going to have him up in the next 30 seconds, big shout out to Sister Pam Africa for making this interview possible. I don't want to spend any more time actually talking. I want you to hear from this brother. You know about him in connection with Public Enemy, but he's been doing stuff before Public Enemy, during Public Enemy, and after Public Enemy. And let me just read to you what I posted on my Facebook page about what this brother is going to talk about. It goes like this. Major media outlets, meaning white media, have implied that Professor Griff of Public Enemy was somehow connected with Micah Xavier Johnson, who shot and killed 5 Dallas police officers. And this is based on a photo that Johnson had posted on his Facebook page. So based on what the media is saying, did Professor Griff know Johnson? Did Professor Griff know anything about Johnson's plans? And this is what I say. Don't believe the hype. Get all the answers directly from Professor Griff himself. Today, right now, without further ado, Professor Griff, enough. I don't want to hear my voice anymore. I want to hear your voice. Tell us whatever you want to tell us. We can go for as long or as short as you want. Just give us the background. How did they tie you into him? Did you know him? Did you know his plans? Just give us what you want to give us, and the microphone is yours. Take as much time as you need.
Well, as you've done, of course, I have to thank Pam Africa.
Yes.
Who put a small troop together and trooped it up to Brooklyn to my press conference, Brooklyn, New York, at Brooklyn. Thank you, Simon. Just kind of letting people know about this situation, simply because I thought it was last Thursday when it went down in Dallas. You know, I unplugged from the Matrix. Do that in order to get out close here because I had a lecture coming up.
Okay.
And when I plugged back into the Matrix, I started getting phone calls and text messages and pictures were being sent to me that was going out throughout the world.
Throughout the world.
Throughout the world. I started getting calls from Belgium, and Amsterdam, London, and a few other places on some people that I'm in contact with. And you know, they were saying pictures circulating around about me and the Dallas sniper, Dallas shooter who killed a police officer. And I was like, wow. Like, when I got the picture, looked at it, I was on the phone with my daughter who sent me the picture, and I said, who is this person?
So let me stop you there for a second. So
I don't know.
Was that a real photo or was it photoshopped?
No. That was a real photo.
Okay.
That was a real photo that I took in Dallas with him several months ago at a lecture that I did with Professor Smalls, Dr. Baruti, and David Banner, and myself in Dallas.
Okay.
And I can remember that day. I think, you know, when I talked to Professor Smalls, he said, you know, I believe that, you know, I took that picture, and I said, you know something, you did, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I remember meeting a brother, but I don't even remember the conversation I had with him. It was very brief and very short.
And that was the first contact you've ever had with him?
First contact I've ever had with this gentleman.
Okay.
And it was the last.
Okay, first and last, okay.
Right, we didn't exchange phone numbers, we didn't exchange email addresses, we didn't tweet one another. Nope, I've never been in contact with him.
So just like throughout your career, millions of people see you at concerts, see you at speaking events, they say, hey, can you take this picture with me? You don't ask for their social security number, their fingerprints, their ID. You're just a nice guy and say, okay, go ahead. Split second, in and out. Is that it?
Exactly. The same thing I did several times while I was in New York last week. I've been here in D.C. for a couple of days preparing for this other press conference. And I take the picture, I don't care where it was, Target, Starbucks.
Okay.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm an approachable person, I'm a people person. Yeah.
All right. So go on. So give us more background. We're listening.
Okay, so that day, when I started getting a barrage of text messages from around the world, I was traveling with a gentleman because we were doing some business together. I asked him to take me back to my car because this is extremely serious. He took as I was driving, I'm texting people to let people know if I'm correct, according to how these people operate, they're going to find me and detain me. So I'm thinking this and I'm sending this information out. Sure enough, when I drove back on my block where I live, they were already sitting in front of my house.
So let me ask you this, Griff. So you thinking that they would detain you and you'd be incommunicado and nobody would know where you are, this wasn't the result of paranoia. This was the result of your knowledge of how the law works.
Exactly, and how law enforcement work, how their mind works.
Yes.
Simply because I've seen this played out over and over and over. Just to formulate a narrative around a picture of which they probably already had the information simply because they've been tapping my phone. You know that.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
They've been sitting in black van out in front of my house. They probably already went through my tweets and my do-it-yourself FBI file, which is Facebook. They probably looked through all of that already. They went through my emails already. So they probably already had the information. They already know I had no contact with this gentleman. But they want to be able to put me in an interrogation room to hear from me themselves. So I kind of figured they'd be lying in wait, and sure enough, I was correct. They were lying in wait. So I drove past my block. I turned one of my cell phones off, and I used that Obama phone.
Okay, smart move. Very smart move. Yes.
Because, let's track you through your phone number. If you talk to anybody in military intelligence, they'll tell you they send in land drones and air drones after people by programming your coordinates of your cell phone.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's on the grid.
Yes, sir.
But, so when I drove past my house, I pulled around the block, and I started tweeting some things out. Sure enough, a white police officer got in contact with me, and he accused me of training snipers to kill police officers. And that's one of the things I tweeted out. I said, no, Mr. White Police Officer, I don't train snipers to kill police officers.
Whoa.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't advocate for killing cops. I don't do that. I said, this through my lectures, interviews, public interviews, we don't do that. That's childish and immature. We don't do that. So after a minute, I said to myself, it's best that I get out of town. I contacted a few elders. They said, wait for a minute. We can send somebody to your house, pack a bag, get it to you. You can get on a plane. So I did that. I came to Wilson, North Carolina, and the people there, good down-home country folk, said, listen, you safe here. I kind of knew I was safe because my cell phone didn't work there.
Okay. Okay. Good point. Very good point.
I was kind of off the grid, and people took care of me, of course, and I want to thank Martone Evans for making that happen.
Excellent.
I talked to the people there, and then shortly after that, I went up into New York to do. Matter of fact, I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to sit out for another couple of days. Sure enough, they found out that I was in Tulsa, and they showed up at the lecture. And the lecture was not even really advertised in that way, but, kick that way, figuring this thing out. So I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the people on Black Wall Street, and I sat there for a few days, and I made my way to New York. But lo and behold, when all this was going down, there was at least 12 different news agencies contacted everyone in public enemy. Chuck D, EMZ, and a few other people, all flavor, to ask some questions, and all of us were kind of in the dark because A, I didn't know each other. Two, I don't know why when you read the articles, they really don't even mention my name. And that's another trick that they play in psychological warfare. They said that this gentleman, before they blew him up, with C4 on the end of an arm of a robot. First time that it ever happened. They said that he managed to scribble on the wall in blood the letters R-B. Okay, so when doing the research, then they started playing out the lyrics from public enemy.
Yes.
So when they looked back, they discovered there was a lyric that Chuck D said. He said, Griff, get the green, black, and red in. Count down for Armageddon.
Yeah.
Then they dug that up. Then they dug up
Griff, you got to spit that again because I'm feeling that, man. Give us that line from P.E. that Chuck did once again.
He said, Griff, get the green back and ready. Count that for Armageddon. Okay. See, the narrative that they formulated is centered around a picture. Oh, they dug up dead players is bigger than hip-hop. And RB, which they said the shooter, alleged shooter, left out the G, which is RBG, which is red, black, and green, and that's the patch that I had on my shoulder in the picture. I had a red, black, and green patch of Africa on my shoulder. So now what they're doing is this high-tech mass manipulation of people's minds using propaganda. And they're feeding on people's ignorance.
Yes.
So if you look at the picture, you hear the narrative, subconsciously speaking, they say, oh, Griff must have been the one that trained the shooter to get shot.
Yes.
And this is how they want people to play it out in their mind, because this is how they work. So people are not going to question the fact that, okay, well, they're not going to question the fact whether I know the gentleman, which I don't. What they're going to do is tie 1 and 2 equals 3, and they're going to subtract a few numbers, add a few numbers, confuse the people, and come up with this lone gunman scenario, which they did. First, when you read the story, it was 2 white Caucasian shooters.
Yes.
Then they blamed the brother, who they confiscated his weapons and put him on blast, and he admitted to the people that it wasn't him, that he's still alive, that he gave his guns to the police. So they dropped that narrative, and then while they had the people distracted with that, they came up with the lone gunman scenario, which was Micah Xavier Johnson, 25 years old, in a picture with Professor Griff that they used to create that.
I guess the authorities didn't like what Griff was saying. Can you believe? Now, I'm not paranoid and I'm not into this whole conspiracy theory stuff, but it's just amazing that for the first time since this story broke, we have a black radio station, black owned and operated, WRD, getting all the facts, getting the real deal, and in the middle of the conversation, we lose him. And by the way, we didn't have him on a cell phone line, we had him on a landline. As long as I've been doing radio, we've never lost anybody on the landline. Well, we're going to get him back, because we got several different ways to reach this brother, and we got our producer right now using all those different sources. We're going to continue this conversation. It's just interesting that as this brother breaks down the whole story about how initially the authorities said it was 2 white guys involved in the killing of these cops in Dallas. Then they got a black guy but found out he was the wrong guy. And then Professor Griff is telling us about this lone gunman theory. And as he's breaking it down, we lose him. Well, the loss of Professor Griff was temporary because we scrambled and we got him back. Professor Griff, I pointed out how the authorities didn't like what you were saying, but keep talking, man. Keep talking.
Well, brother, you know how this thing works.
Oh, absolutely. I'll say this, and then I'll let you go. Those who know don't say, and those who say don't know. Keep going.
Exactly. So I don't know where we got disconnected.
You were talking about the first story was 2 whites involved. Second, they had the wrong black guy. And then third, where we lost you, was the lone gunman.
The lone gunman scenario, which they always come up with. And we'll break down the significance of the numerology.
Take your time. The microphone is yours. Keep talking.
But they always put the first, middle, and last name out when they go over these scenarios. But anyway,
let me stop you there, Griff, because that's important. Lee Harvey Oswald and all that kind of stuff. Explain what you mean.
Well, there's this some research I did called the triple alphabet theory. And what the triple alphabet theory is when they want to set a certain frequency and vibration in motion, to send signals, because, they speak in coded language, we don't know.
Yes.
When they want to speak to other agents, to other secret societies, they talk in code. And numerology has a lot to do with it. If you think about the number 3, it's all around us. First, your middle, your last. 3 colors in the flag. You eat 3 square meals. They're not round, square. Ironically, you eat 3 square meals on a round plate. You understand what I'm saying? When the cops pull you over and take you downtown, they give you the 3rd.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying?
The Holy Trinity, all that stuff. Okay, okay. As a matter of fact, I want you to keep going and break down all this because, again, the microphone is yours. You can say what you want. And let me just say, to corroborate what you pointed out, Micah Johnson, for example, identified himself on his Facebook page as Micah Johnson. But when his name went out to the media, it was all of a sudden Micah Xavier Johnson. Keep talking, Griff.
The reason why that is simply because they use that psychic energy against us. You know, they're working on energy, studies. These are psychic vampires. We got it's black and white magic all the time, especially with signs and symbols dealing with the media.
Okay.
I talked about that when you invited me to your class.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When this lone gunman scenario went out, they tried to tie him to black organizations by saying Micah Johnson. We might call him Micah or M or whatever his homeboys call him.
Yes.
We use nicknames.
Yes.
They use the full name.
Wow.
All right. A, letting people know we own him.
Mm.
Micah was trained in the military. That's their man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we have to understand that dynamic. But when it went out, they used his middle initial. And if his middle initial is X, and they drop the last name, now he becomes Micah X.
I got to tell you, Griff, you breaking it down. I got 4 pages of notes. Keep talking.
Subconsciously now he belongs to the Nation of Islam. Micah X.
Wow.
But you see how slick they are?
Yes. Yes.
We have to understand these people's mindset. Right? So now he's Micah X in a picture with Professor Griff with the red, black, and green Africa on my shoulder. Then the first picture they put out, the second picture, pardon me, was Micah X now in a dashiki. With his black power fist half cocked. This picture went around the world also, now tying him in to Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
To Elijah Muhammad. Now tying him in to the new Black Panther Party and the Black Panther Party. And so now they're bringing up old footage of the live of an old scenario that they've created centered around the Black Panther Party being violent. Not self-defense, not taking up self-defense. Now the Black Panther Party is looked at as a terrorist organization. Tying that back in and updating it to the Black Lives Matter movement and labeling them as a terrorist organization. Now I guess Beyonce is a terrorist because, you know, in her Super Bowl performance.
Yes.
I guess now she's a terrorist because I guess she alluded to attacking police officers with her formation video. White people, stop that. Stop that. You really reaching. You understand what I'm saying?
Clearly.
So to get back to the story, so I guess the lone gunman scenario wasn't working out in their favor because too many people knew Professor Griff and they know Public Enemy. And they weren't falling for the fact that the Art of Rap Tour, which is headed by Ice-T, which is supposed to start on the 16th in Dallas, Texas. You know, Ice-T had a group called Body Count.
Yes.
The group Body Count, #1 song was Cop Killer.
Yes.
So they tied that into the whole thing, and they ended up putting pressure on the promoter, and he had to cancel the show.
Wow.
In Dallas, Texas, and in Austin, Texas. We're not sure whether or not we're even going to do the entire tour. They're putting so much pressure on this man.
Those who are tuned in, you're hearing fire from a fire spitter, not only as a rapper and the force behind Public Enemy, but a real revolutionary, breaking this down like it hasn't been broken down before on any radio station. I got a million questions, but I'm not going to ask them. Professor Griff, keep talking. Professor Griff, keep the lecture moving. We're listening.
So after the lone gunman scenario went out, now it's time for Alphabet Boys to come behind them to support whatever narrative that they're creating. When I say Alphabet Boys, I'll get back to the triple alphabet theory. ABC, NBC, BET, and MTV. The BCC and CNN have to carry the same story. Why? Because they get their information from the same news source. And what are the news sources? AP, which is Associated Press, and Reuters. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Reuters is owned by AP. It's really getting all these from a handful of people sitting in a smoke-filled back room. That's weaving these stories together to feed you this lone gunman scenario. So now that the brother's dead, now they can weave any story that they want to weave together without anyone offering any opposition to it. And I'm letting you know, brother, if they're getting all their information and pictures off of somebody's Facebook page, let's look at that for a second. If I went to your Facebook page, I haven't went to your Facebook page, but if I did, I'm sure you got more than 1 or 2 pictures, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why would they choose Professor Griff?
Great point. Great point.
So they said in one of the articles, they said that it's a different version, an aggressive version of Afrocentrism that I believe in. These people are something else.
Yes.
They know I'm from Public Enemy. They've known me before Public Enemy. Afrocentrism? I spoke at your class.
Yes.
I never even mentioned that part of the term Afrocentrism.
Let me say this, Griff, before you go on. I'm honored that you even remember being a guest speaker at my Temple University Hip Hop 101 class.
Yes, sir, because I wanted to give the students there, your students, an idea of what real Hip Hop 101 was about from an insider's perspective. Thinking from hip hop from the inside out, because hip hop is higher infinite power healing our people. It's higher infinite power healing our people. And that night, I remember we were short on time, and I told you, I said, brother, we got to finish this class. I'll go speak on the street.
Yes, sir.
It don't make me no difference.
Let me do this, Griff. How much more time do you have? I know you're busy, your schedule's tight. How much more time do you have?
I really don't have a lot of time because I got to make it to the press conference.
All right, well, let's do this. I was going to stop it here and go to our commercial break, but let me give you the final 2-3 minutes. Say whatever needs to be said, and then we'll have you back when you're available. But let's wrap this thing up now to get you where you have to be. The microphone is yours once again for the final 2-3 minutes.
Okay, let's just say this, good brother. I want people to stay steadfast in their particular spiritual, and stay spiritually centered. Stay African-centered. You understand what I'm saying? And don't believe the hype, like you said. They know your brother, Professor Griff, and I'm not involved in moving on police officers that way. I don't advocate killing of police officers. I didn't know Micah Xavier Johnson. You understand what I'm saying? And I just hope and wish people would contact me directly. My phone number is 678-557-2919.
Give it to us once again.
678-557-2919. I'm always accessible to the people, and the people can call me directly. I'm on every week on my radio show at Serious Mind Radio and TV. That's Serious Mind. They can Google it. Always, brother. I really appreciate you. Shout out to my sister, Pam Africa.
Powerful words from a powerful brother, Professor Griff. I'll reach out to you later. We'll have you back on, but thank you, good brother, for spending time with us at 900 AM WURD. Be safe.
Give thanks, good brother.
All right. That was the one and only Professor Griff. Like I said, my man, Chuck D, is the power behind Public Enemy, the front man behind Public Enemy, the voice of Public Enemy. But you talk about the passion, the energy, the rage, the militancy. They got that militant military group thing, S1W, Security of the First World. Security of the First World, those are the brothers who are marching behind Public Enemy at every concert, staying right there, the force, the fruit. Well, who's the organizer of the S1W, the Security of the First World? Those brothers behind Flavor Flav and Chuck D and Griff. Well, it's none other than Professor Griff leading S1W, Security of the First World, the militant brothers performing with and protecting Public Enemy. We got to talk a little more about some of the powerful stuff that Professor Griff shared with us. But we can't do it right now because we got a quick commercial break coming up. We got about 6-7 persons on hold. We'll try to get you after the break, but I need a break. I got to catch my breath. I feel like a fan, a groupie, listening to a real revolutionary. Let's take a break. Let's catch my breath. 900 AM, WURD.